Shocking moments are never in short supply in the neighborhood.
Big man, bro, big man. Big man, don't touch him. Calm.
Especially for Melissa Garay from Gresham, Oregon, who hears a noise outside her home one night and checks her security feed. And her jaw drops when her car parked across the street suddenly drives away. The police managed to recover her vehicle and establish a suspect. She's then surprised to learn that the suspect is, in fact, one of her neighbors. But her greatest shock comes a week later, when that same neighbor confronts her with an odd request.
I'd like all my stuff back.
The neighbor claims he purchased the stolen car and left his belongings in it when the police took it.
Well, we would have liked the car not to get stolen too, but you didn't give a.
I don't steal cars. I have a car.
Then how the were you in that car, bro? You're ballsy, dude.
Y'all that.
He wants it out of.
What? That's all done. What do you think was in there?
Why?
What? Because the cops took everything, dude. Why don't you ask the cops where your is? Why would you steal someone's car and then think you had the right to back?
So you guys don't have my then?
We have none of your. We have our that you took. That's what we have.
I didn't take nothing.
Okay. You're wild.
The neighbor drives off without his belongings. Melissa files a police report, and the neighbor is charged with possession of a stolen vehicle. The neighbor pleads not guilty to the charge, and Melissa is sure to keep her vehicle locked in her garage to avoid any unexpected future joyrides in the neighborhood.
You're ballsy, dude.
One of the biggest causes of neighborhood fights is blocking someone's driveway. And in Dallas, Texas, a local plumbing contractor who is in the neighborhood to install a drainage system can't find street parking. So he temporarily puts his excavator in a neighbor's driveway without her permission. She backs straight into it, so he starts filming.
This lady had just came outside and backed right up into the tractor because she knew it was right there.
I gotta go to a doctor's appointment.
We're gonna move. Give me a second. Don't spit in my face. Okay, back up. Okay, man, we're gonna move it. Can you give me 2 seconds? Can you give me 2 seconds?
While the plumber is trying to calm things down, blocking someone's driveway in Texas is illegal and annoying.
Get on that thing and move it.
Okay, but you backed up into it on purpose.
Because it's on my property and I told you to move it.
So you just said that you backed up into it on purpose.
No, I did not say
Yes,
that.
you did.
Why'd she back into it?
She did it on purpose.
Finally, the audacious contractor moves his vehicle and the woman leaves for her appointment. But now she's made an enemy of this neighborhood plumber. So let's hope she doesn't have a blocked toilet or leaky pipe anytime soon.
Someone's messing with your signs.
Annoyed that neighbors keep stealing his chosen candidate's campaign signs, this homeowner is ready to defend his turf. Paintball style.
Got the bait pile all filled up with bait, ready to go. Got the old gun ready to go. Come try and steal my again.
Lying in wait for hours, the homeowner watches over his lawn. Paintballs primed and ready for action. When the sneaky sign bandits make their move, they get the message loud and clear to keep their hands to themselves. Apparently, not everyone in the neighborhood has heard about this homeowner's tenacity towards protecting his property. For another neighbor attempts to steal the signs the very next night.
What the
And he also receives a barrage of paintballs. So remember, when it comes to lawn signs, to paraphrase our 44th president, don't steal, vote.
I see him running.
out of here?
On a sweltering afternoon in Houston, Texas, Martin Pedraza and his son, Julian, are enjoying a relaxing time in their apartment complex's pool.
Oh, Lord.
But this tranquil day suddenly heats up even more when a woman claiming to be from the HOA seems to have an issue with the family in the water.
Just so you'll know, the officer office told me to lock the gate. Don't talk to me. Baby, leave us alone.
According to Martin, the woman alleges that the pool is closed as one of the gates is broken. And he claims this isn't the first time he's encountered the woman trying to kick him out of the pool.
These people are in violation. These people are troublemakers. Bitch, we live here. How are we gonna be in violation? I live here. There are rules. I live here too. I live here too. Get out of here. Leave us alone. I don't ever have to leave. I've been here 16 years. Good for you.
Good for you.
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the neighbors then. Read the sign.
The woman claims that the law requires the pool to be gated and locked to prevent young children from wandering in unattended and drowning. But as Martin reads the sign, he sees no such rule.
I'll lock the gate. I'll call the police and trespass. Good for you. Call them.
Finally, the woman gives up. Martin calls his complex's HOA to report the incident, and they reaffirm that he has the right to use the pool, even with a broken gate. Since the incident, Martin claims that he hasn't seen the woman around his complex, keeping his pool free from any more wave-making conflicts.
Leave us alone. I don't ever have to leave.
In a small southern Missouri neighborhood, a homeowner named Brian is having a problem. This is Brian's neighbor.
Hey, Brian, you got a minute?
And also Brian's problem.
Brian. Hey, Brian.
The neighbor likes to visit Brian. A lot.
I have something you want to hear, Brian. Brian, don't be scared.
The neighbor also likes to come over with a drink and pull Brian into his quirky dramas.
Everything will make a lot more sense to you if you have a conversation. You're not in trouble for what you did. It was part of the plan. You're on a bigger thing than you're aware of.
Brian has no idea what his neighbor is talking about. And when he refuses to answer the door, the neighbor leaves Brian a video message.
I'll just talk to your camera for a minute, since you're not going to surround no plan here.
Brian and his neighbor go way back. The two were actually high school friends over 25 years ago.
Hey, Brian, I know what's going on, and it'll help you. I know how to help you. Go outside. It's not what you think it is. I got it too.
But since moving next door to each other over a decade ago, Brian has had enough of being pulled into his neighbor's elaborate stories.
I know about the train. I know about what happened with him.
So Brian stops answering his door, but that doesn't stop his neighbor from continuing to visit. Until one afternoon, Brian hears the neighbor making strange noises outside his house. Brian is prepared to, once again, not answer the door, but this time the neighbor won't be ignored.
Give me the voodoo doll, you.
Brian calls the police, and according to court records, the neighbor is ticketed for destruction of property for breaking Brian's door. After the door attack, Brian has zero tolerance for his neighbor.
Hey, Brian. Dial 911.
And he threatens to call the police anytime the neighbor steps foot on his porch. After living next to each other for nearly a decade, the neighbor finally gets the hint. And while he's no longer paying Brian any visits, he still sends him messages over his security camera. Doorbell cams offer homeowners a sense of security for everything from would-be thieves to unwanted visitors.
Shut up!
But they also allow parents to spot which neighborhood kid is up to no good. Like this one in Bend, Oregon, who's on the run from cops after vandalizing a home.
Hey, girls. Which way did that kid run? Yeah, which way did he run?
30 minutes later, with the coast now clear, the boy nonchalantly hops out of the can and makes his escape. And as long as the owner of the video doesn't turn it over to the police, this ploy works great. When 30-year-old social worker Wadney Sargent and her husband Alex move into a tranquil family suburb in West Palm Beach, Florida, they are over the moon.
It was the perfect neighborhood for me and my husband and the doggy. We were filled with excitement, and it was emotional too. And then it came to a nightmare.
Across the street from Wadney and Alex lives a couple in their 60s.
Both of my neighbors are confrontational, but we did not expect to have so much issues with our neighbors.
The first instance is when, unbeknownst to Alex, Wadney throws him a birthday party. But shortly after the cake is served, Wadney claims the evening is ruined. The neighbor makes a noise complaint and starts recording her guests, so Wadney starts recording too.
You're on here trying to disturb our party. When I came outside and he was filming me, I felt frustrated and upset and angry. I was kind of trying to chase him away. You came out of your house to do this, okay? Yeah, do the same. I'm doing the same too. And I'm gonna send this email to the HOA tomorrow, okay? Because you're trying to disturb my husband's party. So you're recording me, and you're not supposed to be recording me without information.
Wadney says the police arrive, as she believes the neighbors call them.
I was upset and I was angry, but the party did continue because the officers did not find any evidence of loud music.
However, 2 weeks later, Wadney states the neighbors complain about the noise from a game night she hosts in her garage. When the couple comes outside, Wadney is worried, so she starts recording. Wadney says she's standing on the street, not on their land, and she's aghast by the neighbor's outburst.
I'm feeling angry, and I felt like maybe we made the wrong decision of moving into this particular home.
We could be with our family because of you and your friends.
You're the trashiest people that ever moved in this neighborhood.
Wadney admits she and her husband like to host gatherings in their lovely new home, but she maintains they never go late and are not too loud. However, the neighbor has more to say.
We didn't get done Easter because of you! Keeping yourself till 3 o'clock in the morning!
Record that!
This is really happening.
After this exchange, Wadney says she tries to avoid the neighbors.
The current situation with my neighbors now is that I do feel more anxiety. Typically, I don't go outside, but I'm trying to get better at going outside. She's at the window. Oh my gosh, she just closed the blind.
Wadney and her husband start to look at new neighborhoods. Then, they have a change of heart.
This is our forever home, so we decided to stay. We have another event coming up, and we are planning on having music and enjoying our time with our friends and family.
You're the trashiest people that ever moved in this neighborhood. Record that!
Tonight in Tucson, this couple is in their garage conducting a routine oil change on their van when an unexpected neighbor makes her way out of the darkness.
Why do you keep doing this? You're polluting the air. We can breathe it all in.
After apparently smelling their oil change, the neighbor storms out of her home and scolds the couple for working on their car.
We can breathe it all in. Man, get you to a real mechanic. Because you're...
A few minutes later, the neighbor steps back out of her house, and the man working on his van starts recording their interaction on his cell phone.
You know what? You have no respect. The fumes that are coming off these vehicles are contaminating our dog. I've had enough of you. I know how manipulative you are. You need to have a conscience, because I'm gonna report you to your landlord. And take that to the YouTube and make some sense of yourself.
The man recording heeds his neighbor's advice, posting the video on social media. He later files a harassment claim against her, which is eventually resolved, and they haven't gotten in any arguments since. Which means the couple can continue to work on their cars in peace, so long as they're not waking the neighbors with any more smells.
You need to have a conscience, because I'm gonna report you to your landlord.
Liverpool, England is famous for soccer. But for one local homeowner, she's had her fill of the sport. And the neighborhood kids, who she claims like to kick around their balls against her house. According to the woman recording, the irksome activity has been going on for the past 6 months. and she claims her requests for them to stop have been repeatedly ignored. So she tries yet again to convince the kids that this is unacceptable.
I've been telling you for 6 months not to kick it against my house. You have no respect whatsoever.
And as a new mom, the ongoing disruption is affecting more than just her.
Stop kicking the ball against my house. You've woken my baby up for 6 months. Since my baby was 1 month old, you've woken him up. It's not right. Your parents should be mortified. They should be mortified by your behavior. Mortified, not encouraging it, mortified.
As the kids walk off, it's unclear if the woman's pleas will make a difference. So when the children's mother gets involved, the woman holding the camera doesn't hold back.
Excuse me? Because they've been kicking the ball against my house for 6 months and we have told them not to. No, you cannot allow them to kick the ball against my house. You are in the wrong and you have been in the wrong for 6 months. Stop letting them kick the ball against my house and my windows. It is not all right to do that. You have to stop it.
Seeing the man approach, who appears to be the father of the two kids, the woman stops recording. According to the homeowner, the children continue kicking the ball against their house. So the woman and her family decide that their only choice is to move to a more peaceful neighborhood, leaving the future footballers behind. San Francisco has some of the steepest streets in America, with one inclined at an impressive 41 degrees. So for many residents, safety is essential when parking their vehicles. But when one man walks to his truck, he finds himself face to face with an angry neighbor, and he immediately starts recording.
Don't think you can be above the law. Am I clear?
No, say it again.
You cannot think you're above the law.
How am I above the law?
According to the man behind the camera, when he parks his truck, he forgets to turn his wheels toward the curb, which could lead to the vehicle rolling down the steep hill. In San Francisco, failing to do so can result in a ticket, but the elderly man seems to take it personally.
Your car's being towed for breaking the law.
Hey, I didn't turn my wheel either.
When another neighbor chimes in and admits he also parked incorrectly, the man takes issue with him too.
Are you backing him or me?
I'm just letting you know.
Both of you can stay right there.
All right, I'm not going nowhere.
Uneasy with the situation, the man recording jumps back in his truck, but before he can take off, the neighbor reappears and blocks his way.
Excuse me, sir, I'm trying to leave. Can you please?
Oh, you wasn't saying that a minute ago.
Can you please get off the vehicle?
Not until I got your name, little boy.
Can you please get off the vehicle so I could be on my way?
Call the cops.
I'm not
You
gonna.
don't like it. Are we clear?
No.
You don't know what an auditor is. You do now, boss.
Thank you for keeping us safe.
But as the man walks away, it appears he's not finished and continues with his ranting.
You know how close I was to a pistol shot to the head?
No.
Call the SWAT.
Thankfully, the neighbor never makes good on his threats, and the man recording is able to go about his day. But not without this reminder to think twice about his wheel-turning ways. As for the disgruntled man, at his age, he should already know that anger is never the best form of communication.
Are we clear?
No.